fastest show in sports.
So here I was, all set for the weekend, everything shut down, nothing else to do, just taking care of a little occasional business here and there, and lo and behold, I have to get back on the mic because I am absolutely furious, and nothing frosts my ass like something stupid said by somebody stupid, the likes of Cam Newton. Now, first of all, let me tell you, there's going to be a real moment here because Ed Berliner is actually going to say something positive about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I know. I've been catching so much grief for them going back to last year and this whole nonsense about they deserve to be in the national championship and they would have won the national championship if they would have been there. And man, I received so much hate from Notre Dame fans, such vitriol, that I figured that I could never again step foot in the state of Indiana, much less even go near maybe a Notre Dame boosters convention. I mean, they lambasted me for it, but here we are, and I'm going to side with Notre Dame. Stunning! Now, I'm not sure if it will actually get me back in their good graces for longer than maybe the few minutes that we do this show, but I'll take that gamble. Because Friday morning on his ESPN show, and then again, we all know ESPN is filled with so much nonsense, so much bullshit, so much clickbait. I mean, 9 times out of 10, what they report has already been reported by somebody else, and ESPN just slaps their brand on it, and they make it sound like they're reporting it. That's one of the big things, and as a matter of fact, I know dozens of people who've worked at ESPN over the years, and they will verify that. ESPN goes out and reads the wires, reads the papers, reads the platforms, listens to the television, whatever it is. And if it's something in football, whatever it is, they call up their expert, they tell them they got it, their expert finds somebody who can verify it, and they come on the air with ESPN reports. It is absolute broadcast bullshit. But that's the way they are. And not only that, on top of that, but ESPN also has some of the best clowns, some of the worst clowns, depending on how you look at it, because they need that clickbait in order to generate as much money that they have, generate billions of dollars, because guess what? Even if you don't watch sports, you're paying for it on your cable box every single time. And when it comes to clowns, there perhaps is no one better who should have the red nose on, the floppy shoes, the fuzzy red wig, which maybe he wears anyway every now and then. I just haven't caught every show. Nobody does it better or worse than Cam Newton. Because here is Newton on the Friday morning show, and they're talking about the fact that the college football playoff format won't change for 2026. Now, look, eventually they're going to go to 16 teams and they're going to go to 24. But for right now, until they can get everything all straightened out and figure out how to make as many billions and trillions as they possibly can, they're going to stick with 12. And Newton comes out with this absolute ridiculous, laughable nonsense when he talks about Notre Dame, claiming that Notre Dame hasn't been relevant in many years. That's what frosted my ass. Because once again, Cam Newton is showing that he is perhaps one of the least reputable and maybe one of the dumbest human beings to ever sit there and talk about professional football and college football and any football for that matter. Because all he is an apologist for the SEC. Look, let's not forget, he went to Florida for a short time and basically washed out there, went to a secondary school, got to go to Auburn and won a national championship. So hey, guess what, Cam? You were relevant 1 year in college football. 1! And Notre Dame, here it is. The Notre Dame fans are going to love me for this because I'm actually going to carry this forward for you because it's the right thing to do. Notre Dame, since 2010, 16 years, 16 seasons, 15 winning records, 10 seasons of 10-plus wins. What in the name of sweet football are you saying here, you moron? Relevant? Relevance is not just going ahead and winning a national championship every year. It's being part of the discussion. And whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, or anybody else, Notre Dame has been a part of the discussion. Every year. They have to be, except for one season every now and then. Look, Brian Kelly. Many of those wins came under Brian Kelly, and now they continue to win. So it is absolute, unbelievable, nonsensical, throw out in the mouth clickbait bullshit to say that Notre Dame has not been relevant. They are. Now, okay, I said I'm the guy, one of the many who came out here and said that Notre Dame didn't deserve to be in the national championship playoff because they lost to Miami, so Miami got to win. I get that. Fighting Irish fans are going to go ahead and they're going to grief me for that for the rest of recorded time. I can accept that. I stand by that. But to continue to come out with this absolute nonsense. See, there is a hammer time in much of sports media when it comes down to hammering certain teams, certain players, certain coaches, because you can. And not only that, but because it gets great clickbait. Ever since last season when Notre Dame decided they weren't going to go to the bowl game because they felt they got snubbed by the playoff system, Katie by the door. Everybody's been out there doing whatever they can to hammer away on Notre Dame. And to be honest, you earned it. You should have just went to the bowl game and played it, because that's what it is. That's what this whole sport is about. It's not about just getting to a national championship game, but in the seasons you don't, get to a game where you can go ahead and make a statement. Notre Dame should have came out, and they should have, whomever they faced in any bowl game, come out and beaten the absolute snot out of them, and that would have helped prove their point. But instead, to many, they chickened out. They basically pulled a cowardly move and decided they weren't going to play. So Notre Dame, you're going to live with that regardless of what happens. But to claim the Fighting Irish are irrelevant? Bullshit! But then again, that's what Cam Newton is. Look, Cam Newton is a clown. He is nothing more than a sideshow. He's not a real college football analyst. He's there because he dresses sometimes like he got in a Barbie's closet somewhere and took everything that she hasn't worn in 20 years. I mean, that's his whole shtick. His whole shtick is not knowing the game. And I got to tell you something. I've heard Cam Newton say some things that would prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that the man knows what he knows about college football would fit on the head of a pin and you'd still have room left for the Grand Canyon. I mean, he just spits nonsense and wears these outlandish clothes because that's his shtick. It's the same thing as anybody else. Stephen A. Smith screams at the top of his lungs, most of the time about things he knows absolutely nothing about, but that's his shtick. That's what gets him out there. I mean, there's so many other sports personalities, if you will, who have this. My shtick, having red hair, I guess. I don't know what it is. But Newton gets out there and just looks outlandish, sounds outlandish, appears outlandish because he can. And the fact of the matter is there are the people out there who are buying into this guy in anything that he says. And there are people right now who are going to say, well, Cam Newton said that Notre Dame hasn't been relevant for years. Gee, he must be right. No, he's not. All he is just somebody to sit on the desk, go out to the games, wear outlandish clothes, say outlandish things, go ahead and, be a little bit of an apologist for the SEC. Why not? The SEC, one of the most powerful conferences in college football right now. But he doesn't have to do that. He could still maybe every now and then bring us in some actual insight into it, but that's not his job. And that's not the job of many of the personalities that are in broadcast television and on the various social media platforms these days. Their job is not to give you any facts, like I just did. I gave you the facts on Notre Dame, proving that they've been relevant. But that's not what they're there for. And oh yeah, by the way, Cam, old buddy, old pal, let me go ahead and talk about relevance here for a minute. Because 4 times in your NFL career, you went to the postseason, okay? 7 games, you were 3-4. You couldn't even hit the 500 mark, and you had a really good Carolina Panthers team around you there for a couple of seasons. I get it. Winning MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, everything else, I get it. But were you consistent? Absolutely not. Did you last a long time? No, you didn't. And again, people are going to bring up injuries and maybe other things. I don't care. But when it comes down to relevance, let's look at your record. So let's look at 11 years in the National Football League, Cam, old buddy, old pal. You went to 1 Super Bowl. You went to Super Bowl 50 against the Denver Broncos. Hey, if you looked back at your numbers, Mr. Relevancy, you got smoked. You were 11 of 41 in that game. You passed for over 200 yards, but it wasn't that big a deal. Denver's defense throttled you. No touchdowns, 1 interception, and a quarterback rating of the day of the one time you were in the Super Bowl of 55.4. Absolutely irrelevant. What you did that day to help Carolina win the Super Bowl was completely irrelevant. You couldn't figure out the Broncos' defense, nor could anybody else. But relevancy? Yeah, you got a bunch of awards, and if you go look at your awards right now, you'll find they're listed there. I give you credit for those. You won those. But you weren't a consistent quarterback, a consistently great quarterback. You weren't somebody who actually, and as a matter of fact, let's not forget you had a short stint with the New England Patriots after your injury, and they couldn't wait to jettison you because you were more of a problem than just about anybody else on the team at the time, and the Patriots don't put up with that shit. And that's why they got rid of you. You weren't worth keeping. So let's talk about relevancy for a moment. Cam, old buddy, old pal, Notre Dame's a hell of a lot more relevant than you are. In college football, in the abilities for what they bring forward, in the manner of competition, a hell of a lot more relevant than you are in the college football game, or that you were in college football. You had one season, okay? And you hooked on with an Auburn team that actually was a very good team, and you rode that to a national championship. Maybe some people even think you ought to take off the ring. Maybe you didn't earn it. Maybe it was more of Auburn earning it than Cam Newton. So before we jump, and again, I tell you, this just frosted my ass when I heard this, and we had to get back on the air today because something had to be said. Cam, shut up. No, wait. I take that back. Don't shut up. Please don't. Keep spitting, keep spewing, keep mumbling, bumbling, and stumbling your way through every single little thing you say about college football. Keep doing it, because I got to tell you something. It's great entertainment. We can all sit here and we can just start recording and marking down what you say, and we can then figure out it's all just nonsense because Cam Newton said it. You're a showman. Be a showman. As a matter of fact, get out there and why don't you have a fashion show every single time you're on ESPN. Go ahead, give it to us. Give us 4 or 5 changes of clothing and show us all your fashion sense. And like I said, when it comes to fashion sense, if you really want to nail it every single time, a big bulbous red nose put right there would be a big help. Oh yeah, maybe a nice feather boa would be even better. Maybe one of those shocking red wigs might be perfect for you with a little face paint every now and then to go ahead and make it perfect. And then, how about some floppy shoes and some big pants? If you're going to go for the full bore and try to tell us all what a great individual you are when it comes to fashion, there you go. Although the problem with it is I would hate to insult Bozo. Because Bozo the Clown is a good guy. I mean, he means well. He makes children laugh. You make adult laughs. Because you are absolutely so full of clickbait nonsense, we just can't help laughing at you. And remember, we're not laughing with you.